Number one is you use a voice dictation. If you're not using voice dictation, writing narrative reports is always going to be a pain, and it's going to take 3 and 4 times as long. It's going to be a very negative experience if you are not doing voice dictation. And how easily all you do is on your desk, you just get all the information from that patient's file, all the different tests, diagnostic tests, in other words, all the data. So I just put the data like on the left side of the desk. On the right side of the desk, I have the template. And all I'm going to do is follow the template. And literally all I do with voice dictation is I look at the template and it tells me what information to get from the data. I just go and get it and talk it into the voice dictation recorder. Then after I've done that in the order that I place it in the sequence, then I come back and I go to the next data the template tells me to get. Then I go and get that data from the files that's on my desk and the notes and the reports and whatever. And I just read it and talk it right into the voice dictation, whatever that data was. And that's how I just go through the whole narrative all the way down until I get to the last part, which is essentially the summary. And that's where you do have to think a little bit. That's where you have to, when you go to mechanism of injury, go to your data. When you go to your therapeutic protocol or subjective finds, go to your data. Go to your objective findings, go to your data, go to your diagnostic test, go to your data. I'm just reading it. I'm just going to my data and I'm just reading off what it is into my voice dictation. It's that easy. And then I go into my therapeutic protocol. Well, that's a physician function. I'm just going to explain what I did. This is the therapy I used for these particular symptoms and findings. In other words, they're based on these biomarkers of the patient, and this is the purpose of the therapy, and this was the patient's response in each of the 3 different, or in this case, this was, I think I said 3 different initial exam and 3 re-exams. And that is the therapeutic protocol. Then I'll do the same thing with response to treatment. I'm just going to list everything on my files. I'm going to look for the files. How did they respond and interpret that? Did they get better as expected? Was it slow? Did they need to be referred out? Did they need different type of therapy? How did they respond? And just come and talk it right in. This is the thinking portion of, this is called the physician function of a narrative. This is where you actually have to think. This is not totally 100% copy and paste. And then, in other words, you should be able to talk like this in a deposition or in a testimony. So that's your response to treatment. And now you have the end data. If the person's at MMI, well, you know what MMI is. Just say it right into the voice dictation. This was MMI. What's it based on? Which led to these impairment ratings, and what's that based on? And I just talked it right into the voice dictation, the voice digital recorder. And after I did the MMI and response to treatment, then I did permanent injury. Then I did the prognosis. I just explained what the prognosis is based on, and then I want to say this is. Remember, we don't talk money in a prognosis. All you're doing is talking what therapy you need and why, and what frequency. That's it. And then from there, we'll go into any pre-existing injuries for low proportionate. There you have it. And there you have it. There's your narrative report. And I'll just tell you, when you do it like I just said, when you take all the data and put it on one side of your desk, put the template on the right side, and all I do is I just look at the template, and then I go to the left, gather that data, and as I'm reading it, I just talk it right into a microcassette recorder. I go right back and I go, what data set do I need next? I move over and get it from my data, and I talk it right into the microcassette recorder. And that's how narrative reports are done relatively easy in 20 minutes.